let's get into it because this is me running on like 5 hours of sleep. All right, so Lionsgate portal. If you don't already know, for those of you watching the replay, the Lionsgate portal is a spiritual observance that brings together Leo season, the star Sirius, and the numerology of 88. The sun is in Leo, so we're working with themes of courage, creativity, visibility, life force, and leading from the heart. Around this season, Sirius, the brightest star in our night sky, also begins returning to visibility before sunrise. Ancient Egyptians watched Sirius's return as an important marker of renewal and the turning of a new year. I believe that's when the Nile would flood. And so then we have the number 8. In numerology, it's associated with abundance, strength, balance, and bringing something from the spiritual realm into the physical form, so manifestation. And that's why August 8th is considered the peak of the portal of Lionsgate, which actually started in July. It's like the last week in July and a couple more days after this. So if you're watching like later on, the energy is still with us for the next several days. And today actually is 888 if you add up to 2026. Or no, the whole date. My bad. 8 plus 8 plus 2 plus 2 plus 6 equals 8 when you reduce it. So it is a very 8 energy day and major energy. So that's what Lionsgate is about. And Christy, I know you had some stuff to say about this energy.
Yeah, so I said it a little bit earlier in the live. We kind of felt destabilized because we had tech issues with the first one. So now here we are. And like the old me would have really freaked out about that. And I kind of did a little bit. But so much of like Leo energy for me anyway is ego. And so Leo encourages you to be bold, right? That's like, here I am, the performer energy. But for me, I was doing the opposite. I was a little bit too absorbed in my ego. And like I noticed in my career, especially, which is coming up for me a lot now, everything I was doing was ego. Like it wasn't necessarily that I wanted to do the thing. It was, I should get this master's degree because it's a good thing to have. And, I should do this. I should go for these high profile jobs or, corporate jobs because I have all these degrees and I should. Like it was this vicious cycle. And when I stop to think about what I really want, it's not those things. It's something more simple and more rooted in me and in my body, not in my mind, like being this high powered person. So, like, I think Leo, they encourage you to do the opposite, like, look more towards expressing yourself, being your true self, being bold and expressive and like bigger than you normally would be. For me, it's been the opposite, like getting back to who I really am, not the performance of who I am and what I want. So I feel like that's a good time this month to think about what you really want and how you want to express it in a way that feels real for you, not real for the world, right? Like Instagram or looking good. It's more about what feels good. Okay, the cat
Yeah,
moved.
that's kind of like the shadow side of Leo is like performance. So yeah, I think that tracks. Authenticity is the antidote for that one.
Yeah, exactly. And not performative. Like I think there's so much performative authenticity, including here on Substack. And it's more, what do you really want to do? Like, is this really the stuff you want to do? And sort of leading from that instead of, I should do this. Like you talked about your shoulds, your book about avoiding the shoulds.
Oh yeah, that's been a minute. Yeah, it's F the shoulds.
Okay.
Which I love a good cuss word. I don't know why I'm
Yeah.
not cussing today.
Yeah.
Are you gonna read the chat?
Oh, you can if you want. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I agree.
I was gonna say, Ava is saying it feels like the energy is big, but not under conscious control all the time. And I will second that for sure.
Yeah.
And cussing is often justified. Amen.
This
Hi,
is big
Glee. Hi,
energy.
Amy. Amy's back. Yay. Welcome back,
Yay.
chat.
Thanks for finding us.
Yes,
We
you
were
all get a gold
also
star for coming to 2 lives today.
we were so well, not annoyed, but I was annoyed because I think I contributed to the live glitch in the first one. So here we are. We're still here.
I don't like to assign blame, so it's okay.
I'll blame Mercury. We're still
I
kind
usually
of
blame
coming out of that.
Mercury, whether it's like retrograde or not. It's always in a
That's
shadow
true.
phase.
It's always messing stuff up for me. It's not me at all. It's that,
Yeah. Mercury rules Gemini, right? So I'm like
communication.
totally spaced. Okay. So, and like we both
Yeah.
have Gemini placement. So basically, if Mercury's doing something, we're probably messed up.
I'm I'm a Gemini sun, which is funny because I don't feel like I lead that way. Like I'm not a super outgoing person. I feel like I am, but I'm not. Like it depends on the person. And it like I look at all these celebrities like Marilyn Monroe and Joan Collins and all these really bold, brash, and Donald Trump. We're not gonna go there, but like, very bold, expressive personalities. And I'm like, I don't really identify with that, but I'm a Libra rising, which kind of is that logical balance. So I think it all evens out. But blame Mercury. Always blame Mercury. Or the Lionsgate. Blame that too. What the heck?
Yeah, it's Mercury's fault for Lionsgate
Let's
too.
just blame all the astrological things happening.
For
Yeah.
sure, for sure. Well, yeah, we're gonna pull some cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had any sleep and I'm super nervous today. So I am not that well versed in any cards, to be honest.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can't be learning something and looking good at the same time. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. Well, I might at some point nip to my Google to look at the order of the astrological signs because I'm not great with that either. So
um,
if I,
I do have a list up and I was gonna actually start with Leo, and I forgot to tell
oh,
you that
good.
beforehand.
Good.
Okay.
Let's do that. That's easy.
Okay. It's Leo
Yeah.
season, it's Lionsgate. You gotta start with the lion. Let's go.
All
Okay.
right.
So yeah, let me just get a little shuffle in.
So
And
can
yeah,
I
what
do
is
tarot first and then you do oracle as like the tangible or
okay, do it.
all right. So I just want to tell everyone I'm using my favorite deck, which is the Quiet Rebel Tarot by Lynn Thurman. She's here on Substack. She's from the UK and she does these really cute collage cards that I have way too many of. But I use Quiet Rebel just because the back is so fun. And I feel like there's some messages in it because they do have little messages at the bottom. So I'm not always flying blind. Sometimes I get influenced by what they say on the bottom. So let's see. So for Leo, last one standing, 9 of Wands. So I feel like, you know, you might be really feeling some persevering energy this month. And, you have stuff happening in your sign, which is good, but it can feel like you have to just keep going and keep doing the things you have to do. And like this card is saying, you have that energy and that strength, even if it feels like you don't. And it's a really like, it's this sort of low key but powerful energy. Like you don't always seem like you're pushing really hard, but you are, and you have a lot more power than you think. And I think Leos are just strong personalities generally, and they're like the people who get stuff done. So, this is maybe what Lionsgate's going to show for you is like how you're showing up and persevering in things, even if it feels like, you can't or you don't necessarily want to. And then deciding what you're going to keep doing, what you're going to keep persevering, because some stuff you just might not feel is worth it and you just do it as like a coping mechanism. So that's what I think is a good read for you, the 9 of Wands. And you will see if you look up this card, it's a much different impression. And the cat is here. Yes, you're okay. So yeah, that's your energy for Lionsgate, Leo.
Gotta bring in the actual lion energy. With kitty stuff. So I'm using the Spirit Animal Oracle by Colette Baron Reed and Jenna Della Grataglia is the artist. Apologize if I didn't do a good nine. This is the back. I like the back because Christy shared hers and I wanted to do it. I didn't even see what I pulled. What is this? Nightingale spirit. Love is all around. So yeah, love reminds me of loving yourself. I think Leo would be very good with the self-love and stepping into the spotlight with carrying some of that loving energy and sending that out to the world. That's really good energy. And Leo rules the heart. And so Yeah, I'm just like shaking this everywhere. Sorry. Leo rolls the heart. So love is very appropriate here. So spread the love, y'all. And Christy, you're up with Virgo next.
Okay, I'm petting the cat so she doesn't get angry and meow at me. You could see my disembodied hand. Um, it's okay. You stay there. All right. So I got the Four of Wands, the after party. And I feel like maybe there's some like sort of a letdown this month. Like maybe you're feeling like you have to recover from things. Maybe you've had a rough couple months. And when I think of Four of Wands, I just think it's kind of this flat feeling. Like, you've put a lot of energy into things, you've been thinking a lot, doing a lot, and now might be the time for that to be sort of a, like a break, and that might not be the strictest interpretation, but I feel like this month, like you're people are tempted with Lionsgate and these astrological things to do all these rituals and do all this stuff. And maybe you're being told, just do what you've been doing and be okay with like that sort of after party energy. Like you're still doing things, you're still making things happen, but it's not with that same intensity as before.
Yeah, I was getting that message today as well. Like just do what you can. You don't have to do all the things. And for Virgo, I got Buffalo Spirit, the abundant universe will provide. So, yeah, just staying in alignment with gratitude and not trying to do all the things. And that will definitely help bring the abundance to you. That's manifestation. When we are grateful for the things that we have, it brings more of it. Next
Yeah.
up is Libra.
Okay. Yeah. And I want to add that to Virgo. Like a lot of us struggle with that, like taking breaks and calming down and just having moments where you're not 100% full steam ahead. And I think that's really important to keep in mind. So let's see what this other card we are doing for Libra.
Yeah, Libra's next.
Okay. Hold on. Okay. The cat is temporarily happy with something. I don't know what it is. Are you okay? Yeah, she's good.
Oh,
Okay.
shout out to my Uncle Paul. He just joined.
Oh, hi. Okay. Let me see something really quick. Yeah. So this confirms. So I'm getting the Knight of Swords, Storm Chaser, and this is like a sign to pursue those like intellectual things in your life, those ideas, those pursuits. The Knight of Swords is like really charging ahead, and all the knights do that, right? They're more like active, forward moving. Knight of Swords to me in this context is saying if you're having ideas, if you're working on something intellectually, whether it's a project or a book or something that's really requiring a lot of intellectual energy, this is the month to really leverage that energy and do it. And this guy, he's a storm chaser, which I think is crazy, but okay. And he's just charging right out into the storm. He's not overthinking it, he's not over planning, he's going where his ideas and his momentum takes him. So I think that's your energy for this month.
And I pulled the Eagle Spirit. Spirit has your back. And I know that eagles fly really high and they can actually fly above the storm. So zoom out if you need to and fly above. The cat is cracking me up. I heard the meow.
It's okay. You want to say hi?
Yeah, the eagle zooms out. Bring on the kitty. It's Lionsgate. Come on.
She's, you know what? I have a shelf on the bottom of my bed that it wasn't planned. The person who made the bed just has these like shelves on either side. And the cat loves to walk on it like it's a gangplank, stand there and meow at my head whenever I'm doing anything. So I've learned this is life. But yeah, she can jump. I don't know if she's gonna jump. And I can carry her, but she might get really irritated. So I'm just gonna keep petting her from afar. And
the
sorry,
chat does want the cat to say hi, so
maybe at the end you stick around. Okay, you know what? Here we go.
You wait your turn.
We're doing this. We're doing this. Okay. I see you. I see you.
Oh, here
Okay.
comes the kitty.
It's okay. How are you doing? Isn't she pretty? She's my pretty
What's her
kitty.
name?
That's Luna.
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 Oh,
Luna
that's a
is
cool name.
yes. Luna is very, very demanding and talks a lot and eats a lot and sleeps a lot. Okay. Okay. You're going down. Okay. There you go. We'll see what happens. You can go in
You needed
there.
that moon energy for Lionsgate on this fire.
She's such a cutie. Yeah. Amy, yeah, Aries, you guys, you have such energy. Like I've known a couple Aries and they're really, really, really energetic people. So good on you. That's awesome. We'll get to it shortly. What were we doing next?
Scorpio is next up.
Okay. You good there? Okay. All right. Security blanket, Four of Pentacles. So this one is about obviously security. And I feel like this month Lionsgate might be sort of reminding you of your resources and scarcity mindset, like specifically not just money, but time and your possessions, your belongings. If you feel secure where you're living, if you feel secure in your job, if you feel secure in like the physical, tangible things. And like I always think of this as you're losing your money, right? Or you're trying not to lose your money and you're clinging to it. But it can be more than that. It can be, the building blocks of your life. So I feel like, this is a good time to think about how secure you feel in your own life, whether it's your finances or your home or your career. I think that's really going to be highlighted.
Yeah, and oh my gosh, we're talking Scorpio, right? Okay. Badger Spirit is the one I pulled, and you might have to fight for your right to party, to feel secure, you might have to be bold, might have to be fearless.
Okay.
Honey
So
Badger doesn't give a shit, you know what I mean?
okay.
So you've got to be fearless and bold and just go for it to like protect yourself,
Come on.
security. I know you Scorpios like to sting sometimes. I'm a Venus Scorpio, which gets weird. So
Yeah.
the cat
Yeah.
energy is really real. You might have just seen my
Oh,
cat Han walk past.
there
Maybe
she
I can
is.
I'll steal him. Oh, kitty.
She's here. She's on the chair and she's
Is she
not
getting the
moving.
chair? You're done.
She says, "You're not moving. This is going to be your reality now. Okay? You sit there. You sit there. You could sit there. Mommy will
Just sit.
stand.
We'll stand.
It's all good.
Sagittarius is next up. That's me.
Yay. All right. Let's see. Look at the cards. Look at the cards. Aren't they nice? Yeah, I know.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
have her pick.
Okay. Here. You put your paw. Okay. Okay. Yep. That one. Okay. This is what she rubbed her face on. So,
Yes.
power struggle. Five of Wands. So I feel like this month, this Lionsgate is going to highlight like your not necessarily belonging, but like what you're willing to fight for and what you don't want to fight for. And you might have felt like you have to compete for things, that you have to fight for the things in your life to stay. But I think you're being told in this context that, you have to decide what's worth fighting for, what versus what's worth just leaving. And like so many times we get stuck in these power struggles, we don't even stop to think, is this even doing me any good? So I think that's your message for Lionsgate. And it really ties well into that Leo idea of like how you show up in the world and your Aquarius like community. Is it worth being in these communities? Is it worth staying with it? And is it worth being competitive if you need to?
And for Sagittarius, the oracle card I pulled is actually Cat Spirit, which is great because we had a cat pull the tarot card. So there's a lot of cat
Yeah,
energy
you're so
happening.
smart.
It says claim your independence. But I also know that cats can be like really snuggly and they can be fierce and maybe even competitive. My two cats like to play fight a lot. And so like maybe that's the energy. Maybe you just need to sleep a lot and take a break, which I didn't sleep last night. So sleeping seems really real. And I love that it's an orange. Like Sagittarius is a little crazy too. So
And
All right, next up is Capricorn.
cats also don't mind like sort of defending their turf. So I think that's important there too. Like
Marking their
seeing,
territory.
yeah, exactly. And maybe we have some boundaries at play too. Like what is worth sticking with? And if you are sticking with it, can you do better boundaries? And I think that's something that's universal. So maybe a universal message going on. So now what are we on to?
Capricorn.
Capricorn. You wanna? Okay. That's the one? Okay. Okay, you've lost interest. Okay. You go over there.
It was
You
only for
go over there.
Sagittarius.
She only wanted to be a part of Sagittarius, so she'll be back. She'll be
Same.
back just when I'm absorbed in something. Okay, so now this card gets the Magician. And this card, like, it has two connotations, right? We all know the Magician is the person who has all these resources and they can actually do something with them. And I think, like, for me as a neurodivergent person, it often feels like even if you do have those resources, you don't, because you can't always leverage them the same way, right? So when I get this card for this sign specifically, what I think the Lionsgate is highlighting is like, not only are you using what you have, but do you even really know what you have? And this is actually the way she has this connotation is the hustler, which in some like I guess in a reverse shadow sort of way, the magician can also be like the flim flam guy, the con artist, the guy who's like just tells a lot of stories and doesn't follow through. We all know people like that in our lives. But the magician, I think, in this context, is telling us, do you even know what you have at your disposal? And are you willing to use it? Or do you want to do something different? So it's one thing to have certain skills and abilities, it's another to actually want to use them. So, like, I could be really good at tap dancing. If I don't want to do tap dancing as a career, then I'm not going to use that skill, right? So, sometimes just having an ability doesn't mean you have to use it. And you have to determine what's in your best interest right now to use. You have a lot of skills and abilities. It's what are you going to use? What are you going to really lean into right now? And what are you going to focus on?
Yeah, that's great. My uncle Paul in the chat says that's me, the magic man, because he's a Capricorn sun.
Ah, cool.
And for Capricorn, I pull a peacock spirit, let it shine, which is funny because like in my family, everyone's a peacock. Everyone is like letting it shine. And if the peacocks have that like really annoying, like, ah! And yeah, that's my family just constantly. I don't know where I get it from. But yeah, I think letting it shine is really accurate. Again, that's the energy of Lionsgate Portal. My uncle Paul is cracking up in the chat. But yeah, letting yourself be seen, letting your spirit shine, your heart shine is really the energy of Lionsgate. And so like taking those tools at your disposal and using what you have and letting it shine, that is the energy. Ava says must be some family. It is some family.
Very cool. So what
Next
are we
is
up to?
Aquarius.
Aquarius, okay. Are we entering the age of Aquarius or have we and missed our shot? Who knows? I feel like I've read somewhere that we are actually in the age of Aquarius, which feels both deeply untrue and also like, yeah, I could see that because a lot of things are being shaken up. The social fabric is being torn in some ways, and in some ways, like new social threads are being created. So I feel like that makes sense, but it's not what the musical taught us to believe that it was going to be all peace and love and rainbows. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
hair. That's hair, right? Yeah. Oh, she's back. Okay. So the Queen of Cups. So I feel like Lionsgate is encouraging you to really lean into your emotions and not just like feel them, but do something with them that is constructive. And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to have like a business around your emotions or do anything super tangible with them. It means like learning to feel them and learning to accept them so that you can move forward. And I think a lot of us, especially if we're really sensitive, we tend to distance ourselves with busy work, we overwork, we overthink, we get into addictions, like, and that's all to avoid feeling our emotions. So Queen of Cups energy is really valuable. Um, just to learn, like, what are you actually feeling? How do you actually feel about these situations? And what can you do about it?
Ava in the chat said they thought it was that card said the Tina Turner, and I'm not gonna lie, I think I read that as well.
I really want there to be a Tina Turner deck now. I think that would be
That's
awesome.
funny. Okay, so Aquarius, what's your words from this parrot spirit? So yeah, you're not known for being emotional. It's a very like logical, detached sign. And so, as Christy was saying, like I think the message between these two cards is get it under control, feel your feelings, and watch your words before you lash out on someone. You really have to process your own side of things, like your own side of the street, make sure it's clean, and just process your own emotions before you go at some other people, because the energy during this Lionsgate portal is fiery. And next up is Pisces, whenever you're ready.
Just to add to that, I think that's a good point, because the Queen of Cups, she feels emotions, but she also has control of her emotions. So that balance is really key. It's not just having emotions and getting really, fiery with people and saying, I feel bad because of you or whatever. It's about you doing the work you need to do. And then if you have to communicate, doing it in a way that's helpful. So now we are on to Pisces, which is my mom's sign. And she is in the other room. Why don't you go see Grandma? Grandma's in there. Swear to God, it's like having children. Okay. Page of Wands, the flamethrower. So I think that's pretty clear. It's sort of, the page is like that person who's sort of figuring out what they're doing and how they can use their energy wisely. And I feel like this Lionsgate is telling you to be a little bit more, like, a little less rigid, I guess is the best word. Like, if you have all these ideas and emotion, and not emotions, but concepts of things you want to try or do, I think you're being asked to be more in a beginner's mindset and just go for it. So you see, he has the flamethrower. It's a little guy, young. It's actually younger than a traditional page. Usually pages are like teenagers, but he's just going for it, and he's willing to experiment. He's willing to throw that flame, and we have that fiery energy, so this makes sense. Being a little bit more like open to whatever ideas come in, and just being a beginner. I think that's really key this month, and with Lionsgate in general.
And for, oh my gosh, what sign are we on? For Pisces, I pull a Panther Spirit. Panther Spirit says to reclaim your power. And I think a large portion of that would be to reclaim that childlike energy, that beginner's mindset, that curiosity. There's a lot of things we kind of had to grow out of as kids. And I think that becomes our shadow, and that needs to be reclaimed. I think the Lionsgate portal is shining a light on that shadow childhood stuff, and it's calling you back to your childhood to reclaim your power. And through poetry, if you're like me, or whatever feels good, that's a really good way. But yeah, I didn't think I was going to get prescriptive on that one, but that's just what popped in. And next up is Aries.
Just to add to that last one, I think going back in time to like your mindsets and your beliefs from childhood can be really helpful, and seeing what you're still carrying through. Like for me, I'm looking into my scarcity and money mindsets and stuff. And it's crazy for me to think I'm going to be a millionaire, because all my life, anytime anyone has had any good fortune or money, it's kind of disappeared, or something horrible happened and we lost it. So I feel like, looking back at what you believed about certain things as a child, specifically like ideas and deep set beliefs, can help you. Like going back as excavating that, and then maybe trying to move forward with different ones. So just sort of going into my own riff on that. But Aries, let's see what Aries got. Page of Cups, the heart stir. So, Page of Cups, again, you have that youthful energy, that innocent, naive energy. And I think you're being asked to be a little bit more open to emotions, to love from other people. It doesn't have to be relationships, it could be platonic. I feel like this is a month and a turning point for you of learning to accept others' emotions in a way that doesn't feel overwhelming. And, the page again, young little guy, and like children, we learn to love others and receive love. And as we get older, we tend to think it's conditional or we don't deserve it. And I feel like you're being called to sort of look at your emotions and allow yourself, even cautiously, just allow yourself a little bit more emotional vulnerability this Lionsgate portal. We got the little guy there. There you go.
And this is Aries energy. So yeah, this is weird. I also got a watery type animal, seahorse spirit, and the message on here is watch and wait. I don't get this card a lot, so watch and wait. I'm not really sure, but what's coming in is how like the male seahorse is actually like the mother, and so like kind of thinking of maybe gender roles and where they stand and like how emotions fit in with gender roles and how we think that traditionally with gender roles that men aren't supposed to have feelings and women are too emotional. And I think seahorse spirit is like trying to flip that on its head. And also humans have emotions, period, the end. So
Yeah.
and I know y'all Aries are emotional because I know so many Aries. Um, so yeah, just emotional intelligence, and using and just like having that patience in that moment before like reacting, which I know is not your thing, but we can all learn.
And Aries, like you said, it's a very emotional sign, but it often hides it behind like bluster. And like I don't want to say anybody in the chat is blustering or has that tendency, but like all the Aries people I've known have like these ego things. They have like Gaston energy from Beauty and the Beast. And like even if they don't always show it, like they have a very strong self-concept. And it's the same with Leos, like that big outsized energy. And if anyone contrasts with that, they get very hurt and wounded. And like I think that's really important, is to learn how to deal into your emotions without getting overpowered by them. And Aries are fiery, they can handle that, they can handle a lot of work and energy, so I think they'll be good.
Yeah, I'm an Aries rising, so like a lot of that was about me for me, and I've done a lot of the emotional work, so I get to
I
say
have
it. Okay.
I'm Aries. I'm Aries. I'm Venus. I think I have Aries and Venus. So in
Okay.
relationships, I have Aries vibes, which I've known Aries. I don't really agree with that, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I get it. So I don't know. I'm still learning a lot about all the different facets of these expressions. And I just learned how to read my chart the other day, and that was kind of cool. So
That's really
anyway,
cool. Taurus is up
Taurus.
next. Taurus.
Okay. You're being a good girl. She's just sitting on the edge of my bed looking at me like, okay, let's move this along. Um, I got the Knight of Swords again for you, but I'm gonna pull another one because I want to get some clarity on that. Queen of Pentacles. So we got swords and we got pentacles. So you guys get an extra special bonus. So I think when we have a knight that goes to a queen, you're seeing some, you can jump, you could jump, you jump over there. Okay, good. Now she's going in the window. Now she's happy. You stay there. Okay. So, Knight of Swords and Queen of Pentacles. So, you have this nurturing energy of creating a nest. And the Queen of Pentacles, it's like physical energy. It's what you have, it's how you have it, it's your security, it's finances, it's your home. And then you have the King of Swords, or Knight of Swords, which is more intellectual and it's more brash. So between the two, you have this need to balance that brashness and that like going after whatever ideas catch your fancy, and also making sure you have a good place to land. So I feel like you're going to have these competing impulses of wanting to do all the things, but not necessarily having the nest available to balance that and recover from that. So what you want to make sure you're doing is that you have some resources, that you have some pentacle security in your life. It doesn't have to be millions of dollars in the bank. It could be just a secure home, a place for you to recuperate. And then you can go and have that night energy as long as you have that Queen of Pentacles energy to balance it out.
Yeah, and speaking of nesting, Taurus, we got wasp spirit coming in, and it says sometimes life stings, but wasps always build their nests where you don't want them to, and you just want to get rid of it. So like, be careful where you're putting that nest. Be careful where you're nesting. Very relevant for my husband and I. My husband's a Taurus, and we actually just stayed at a hotel where we experienced credit card fraud. So you got to be careful where you're nesting, because sometimes life stings.
Yeah, that's valid. And it's often when you feel most relaxed too, right? Like you think everything's fine and then stuff comes out of nowhere. And part of the journey is trying to learn how to cope with it and reducing the amount of time it takes to get from the reacting part of it, which is valid, to how am I going to respond? And I guess that's the whole work. And I'm horrible at that too. So I'm just like, it's an everlasting lesson. So, Gemini. Gemini, that's my sun sign. The Mood Rider, Knight of Cups. We're getting a lot of knights in this. And I feel like knights are energy moving forward and a lot of like fast moving energy. And this to me means, traditional meanings for Gemini is like love coming in, relationships, friendships. And I think that's valid. I think it could be valid. I think for you specifically, it's learning how to express your feelings in a way that's helpful for you and for others. So Geminis are talkers, they're communicators. We're normally not that bad at communicating our needs and how we feel, but sometimes we can get really brash and just blurt things out and say things that aren't really helpful, and they could be hurtful. So I think you're being called to look at the people in your life, how you interact with them, and see if you can, temper some of this Knight of Cups energy, being expressive with having some temperance and not blurting everything. And temperance is my card of the year, I think. So that's just me reading into it, but I think that's valid for Gemini, is learning to balance those, communicating, Mercury rushing forward type of energy with saying things that are helpful, not hurtful.
And for Gemini, I pull Dear Spirit, and Dear Spirit wants you to know to bring a gentle touch. Bring a gentle touch to your conversations and even the conversations you're having with yourself. Dear are associated with like grace and beauty and gentleness. And so I think if you could bring more of that to the conversations and relationships and all that. And that, Christy, I love that you brought in like temperance, because it's Sagittarius and that's the opposite of Gemini. So I think that's really valid. And yeah, I love this Dear Spirit card, like Ava was saying in the chat. Dear Spirit are really close to me. I think they're one of like my spirit beings that I always see, and it's always like a really meaningful experience for some reason whenever I see them.
Cool. Yeah, I just saw the chat. Somehow my chat was scrolled all the way up, and I just saw Amy's and Eva's. Thank you, Amy. I'm glad it helped. Yeah, it's so cool how like different readings, different impressions, different perspectives can help you at different times. So I'm glad it resonated with you. So now we're on to Cancer, right?
Yeah, the last but not least, Cancer.
All right. And the cat is in the window and she is sleeping. Great. So we're still getting a lot of, it's crazy. We're getting a lot of the court cards, the queens, the knights. We haven't got any kings, but we got a lot of queens and knights and pages. So this one is Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is like self-made woman, self-made man, very competent, very knows what they want, goes for it. And I think you're being asked to sort of determine what it is you want during this time and go for it. So I touched on this in another sign, I believe, or maybe it was in the beginning. But a lot of times we don't always know what we want and we go towards the wrong thing, or we go towards something we think we want. And in reality, it's all about what it looks like. So you're being asked, you have the energy this month to go for what you want. You just need to make sure what you think you want is what you really want. So this is something useful to think about. Like, are you are a hotshot, you are this powerful person. You just need to make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. And you don't want to waste a lot of time doing things you think you should be doing. This is a time to look at what you actually want to be doing and then trust that you have that momentum behind you.
And for Cancer, I pulled Turkey Spirit. It says give with gratitude and grace. And I think that's going to be the end result when you're following your intuition, when you're following your fire. Abundance will result from that as long as you are grounded in what you're aiming for and following the fire of your heart, stepping into the light Lionsgate portal.
Yeah, things are so much easier when you're doing things in alignment with what you actually want. And I think so many of us are blindsided by what we want. We don't know, or we go with what parents want for us, or teachers, or what other people are doing online. And a lot of times you just need to be like, is this my stuff or is this everyone else's that I'm doing? Like, am I doing it because everyone else is, or is it because I really want it? And I think that's huge with Lionsgate, the Leo and Aquarius thing is you versus community. Like, are you doing what you want to be doing? Are you being influenced helpfully by your community? Or are you being sort of swayed by your community to do different things? And it's all like a lot of what we do is based on who we surround ourselves with. So I think it's important, like with Leo energy and Aquarius, it's like seeing who your circle are and seeing where you fit into that circle. And if you like where you are in that circle, and if not, you can go to another circle. Like, there's endless variations of you that you could be.
Yeah, that's really wise, actually. I don't have anything to add to that. That's really good. I think we're gonna wrap it up because again, 5 hours of sleep over here.
Oh boy. Yeah.
But yeah, thank you all for coming today. I really appreciate it. And before we leave, we're just gonna mention the things that we're up to. So for me at Wandering Willow, I have a Rooted Word Circle coming up Wednesday, August 12th, and I'll put the link in the replay. Rooted Word Circle is something that came from my forest therapy experience where we come to our senses using embodied practices, and then we write based on a prompt, and then we prompt. I didn't even say that word right. And then we come back and share what we wrote with each other. And then we have another few minutes to write a community poem based on like words that spoke to us from each other. And then we come back and read that poem, the community found poem at the end. And people really love that experience. I do have some reviews somewhere. I promise that people have done it and they like it. And what is wrong with me right now? I don't know. But yeah, that's Wednesday, August 12th, and I have a good time doing it. I hopefully will have more sleep then. And then I have a monthly feature for paid subscribers. Every first Sunday of the month at 1 p.m. Eastern, I do a thing called Show and Tell for Grown-ups. And that is exactly what it sounds like. Whatever is lighting you up, you bring it for show and tell. Like, I might bring this necklace that I was wearing today. It's a yellow necklace, very Lionsgate energy of courage and solar plexus, very sun energy. And I would just chat about it, and everyone, and the only requirement is to love what everyone has, because we need those places that you can talk about what you want to talk about and it's received and celebrated. And so that's the point of Show and Tell for Grown-ups every first Sunday. And that's my upcoming events. And Christy has some stuff that she would like to talk about.
Yeah, I'm doing a TED Talk in Orlando, Florida in a couple months. Really
Are you
excited
really?
about. No, I'm joking. I'm not. But I'm trying to like I feel like I need to have something grand. Not really. I really don't have any interest in traveling right now. I'm actually quite happy doing what I'm doing, trying to get our house in order. And that nesting energy coming back in. I love the TED Talk idea. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
But no, what I'm actually doing is what I'm always doing, which is the ADHD tarot, which is where I interpret tarot for neurodivergent minds, specifically ADHD, but also autistic, ADHD, people who think differently. And the idea is to see tarot through a different way and use it in more of a self-knowledge way and less of a divination way. And so every month I do pick a cards every Wednesday usually. I do collective readings weekly. I do a zodiac monthly mini reading for every sign. And most of my work is free, 95% of it is. I do have some tools and things behind a paywall, and paid monthly subscribers get not only a complete spreads book of like different neurodivergent tailored spreads to do tarot readings with, but you also get access to these tools that are behind the paywall. And we're cooking up some other ideas for that. So I encourage anyone who really likes the work I do to maybe upgrade if you'd like, or, you know, at least share the stuff if you really like it. And also encouraging folks, if they are already paid and they want to go to the next level, I do a founding membership, which we do monthly reads, not necessarily monthly reads, but you could talk out your tarot reads and any of the collective readings we do and talk about it together. We could talk about whatever on a Zoom. And you also get a neurodivergent tarot reading from me, which is, you know, you have 3 different choices of what you want there. And that comes in a PDF and or an audio, whatever works for you. And that's another thing I offer is neurodivergent tarot readings over there. So that's what I'm offering. And on my other Substack, Not Your Average Athlete, have no idea what I'm offering other than a bunch of random essays whenever I feel like it. So that's your other option if you want to follow me. But yeah, so I feel like it's a good month to think about where we're going, who we are, what we're doing. And this was really fun despite the snafu. So thank you, Sam.
Yeah. Thanks for being here, Christy, and your huge knowledge of tarot and everything. That was really great today. And thank you everyone in the chat for coming. This was a lot of fun, despite tech support issues and sleep. But yeah, I think that's it for us, and hope you have a great day.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.